Fate The Winx series is a teen drama series based on the Nickelodeon animated series Winx Club. Bloom, a fairy with fire powers, enrolls in Althea College, a magical boarding school in the otherworld, and her experiences there are chronicled in the show. There are a variety of cast members who make up the characters in the Netflix drama. In today's video, we'll be discussing cast secrets fans never knew about from the show Fate The Winx Saga. Last minute call. Abigail Cowan, Bloom, got a last minute call for her part of the show. Who'd have guessed the actress wasn't ready to take over as the show's leader? She was preparing to board her aircraft to Vancouver when she received a call for her audition. She had just 2 hours to land the part, and it was a scurry. Cowan told The Guardian that she didn't expect to be called back anytime soon. She described how she felt insane sitting in the waiting area with a suitcase by her side, but that she encouraged herself not to be worried and to give it her all. Imagine her delight when she learned that she'd been cast in the part, especially as the lead of a Netflix series. That feeling would have been unmatched. Friends outside the show. Without positive sentiments and camaraderie, no production can be successful. In the Winx Saga cast, there's no fake friendships. On the surface, there are some major antagonist dynamics, but in actuality, the cast is more like one big loving family. What else would we expect from a bunch of individuals who've been living together in the forest for a long time? In between takes, the cast members were reciting spells and giggling. When they weren't on set, the show's girls in particular were so close that all they could think about was Winx rehearsals. The inspiration. Comic artist Eugenio Straffi, who created the Winx Club in the 1990s, noticed that animated films focused mainly on male heroes. He hoped to explore the psychological side of the transition from 16 to 18-year-olds to an adult. For the creation of the Winx, Straffi said that the first premise was to create a rivalry between fairies and witches, a kind of Oxford-Cambridge rivalry. Later, he was also inspired by the Japanese manga and comic drawings of Sero Bonelli, a change from the original story. The Netflix show differed from the animated version of the show, particularly in terms of the characters' backstories. In the original show, it was frequently used to teach useful lessons to young audiences while remaining lighthearted and upbeat. The show in 2021 flipped the script and made the stories more emotional and grim. Bloom discovers her abilities after almost setting her house on fire in the 2021 show. Stella suffers through significant mental stress due to past experiences and is emotionally humiliated by her royal family after putting her parents in danger. She then learns the harsh reality of what happened to the area she was supposedly born in. Creating. He was dissatisfied with the characters' appearances, which he claimed were a ripoff of Japanese cinema. Eugenio Straffi enlisted the help of Italian stylists, some of whom had previously worked for Dolce & Gabbana and Prada. They assisted in remodeling the show and giving the characters a more current appearance. The name Winx was inspired by the character Winx, and the name Axe was picked to resemble the shape and sound of Winx. Drama alert. Even yet, there was turbulence in the show's creation. The show was on the edge of being canceled before it was even released at one point. While the portrayal of healthy bodies has been corrected, the showrunners have received criticism for whitewashing the characters. The casting supervisors were chastised by fans for casting white actresses in the roles of Flora and Musa. Sarah, who is Latin American in origin and resembles the original character Flora, is a Latin American fairy, while Musa is an East Asian fairy. Fans are hoping that in season 2 of the show, they would take this criticism seriously and incorporate these important lessons. Filming location. The location for the show was to die for. If there's anything real about the Winx Saga, it's the fascinating landscapes. No CGI was necessary when the showrunners decided to shoot the series in Ireland. The place looks like nothing less than a magical fairy kingdom with all the castles and spacious fields. Not even the cast could contain their excitement about the location. They were beyond ecstatic when they made it to Kilruddery House. It's safe to say that lead star Cowan was the biggest fan of the location. She filled her whole social media feed with photos of her in front of the picturesque landscapes, posting many to her Instagram. The VFX. It's a strange feeling to be disappointed after binge watching your favorite fantasy show, only to discover that all the enchantment you experienced was CGI. Everything we see on screen is a product of a green screen on the sets. This was Danny Griffin's initial reaction when he arrived on the set of the Winx Saga Fate. Danny was provided fake props for all of the action parts of the performance, such as a foam sword. He couldn't stop saying, "Where's the real one?" on the first day of the shoot, because we all know that they can't handle real weapons for their own safety. All those battle scenes don't seem too terrifying now, but even with a plastic prop, we were on the edge of our seats every time someone was having a battle. The characters. Fans of the original program may have been disappointed to hear that several characters had been eliminated or modified. Terra is one of the most important characters. The Earth Fairy's rule was passed on to another character named Flora in the program, although it's uncertain if she'll return. There is another change in the characters later in the series that fans will notice right immediately. Musa's abilities were changed to better fit the scenario. She's an empath and a mind fairy rather than a music fairy. Another original character, Tekna, the fairy of technology will be missed by fans. Season 2 details. Release date. Despite the show's popularity, Netflix did not immediately sign off on the second season, instead waiting a month or so before revealing the news. It would have been terrible to end the amazing trip early because there were so many loose ends and cliffhangers at the end of the season. Season 2 has officially been confirmed, and there's more good news on the way. 2 extra one-hour episodes will be added to the second series, according to Variety. The supernatural coming-of-age series showrunner and executive producer will be Brian Young, who also created The Vampire Diaries, made a statement on the show's second season. The 6 episodes in Season 1 only scratch the surface of this incredibly rich world and the powerful fairies who inhabit it. As Bloom's story continues to evolve, I can't wait for you to learn even more about Aisha, Stella, Terra, and Musa. And you never know who might show up at Althea next term, Young said in a statement. Winx connects with audiences in the live-action adaptation and the same way it does in animation, added Ingenio Straffi, creator of the original cartoon. Over the years, we have seen Winx grow into a global phenomenon, and millions of fans have faithfully followed the show. Season 1 premiered in January, and we expect Netflix will stick to the same release schedule that has proven so successful, with Season 2 following suit in 2022. Casting. Farrah, played by Eve Best, had her neck snapped by Rosalind, played by Leslie Sharp, and it was curtains for her. Everyone thinks the former headmistress is on a sabbatical in the mountains, but in reality, she's pushing daisies. But given that this is a show where anything can happen, we wouldn't rule out Farrah appearing again in the future. Rosalind, on the other hand, is still alive and well, so she'll undoubtedly return along with Bloom, who is played by Abigail Cowan. The rest of the actors expected to be returning include Elisha Applebaum as Musa, Eliot Salt as Terra, Hannah Vander Westhuizen as Stella, Danny Griffin playing Sky, Freddie Thorpe as Riven, Sadie Severall as Beatrix, Rob James Collier playing Silva, and many more from the first season. Alongside the old faces, we're expected to see some new faces appear in the second season. Storyline. After Althea College, a heavy cloud has descended. After killing Farrah, Rosalind, who was released by Bloom after using the students' ignorance, is now in power. And much to his son Sky's surprise, Silva has been arrested for the attempted murder of Andreas, who's still alive after surviving the Battle of Astrodel. You don't have to be in the writer's room to figure out that Althea's version of Dumbledore's army will be working to rectify some significant wrongs in Season 2. According to Rosalind, war is also on the horizon, with the burned ones pale in comparison to what lies next. But what will it include in detail? What we do know is that Bloom and her fairy magic will play a crucial role. Rosalind, we learned, was the one who led the burned ones through the barrier and onto the college grounds. Bloom's abilities were put to the test to determine if they could manage the threat, and they did. In Season 2, we'll discover if the fairies can keep their powers under control. There you have it, some never-before-seen secrets from the program Fate The Winx Saga for fans. Season 2 is presently in production, therefore it's a good idea to brush up on the first season to prepare for the second. Thanks for watching.